Next is about the disobedience to an order of the court. In that the first case is a strict proof, it is a short one. So in this, one of the most important powers of the court of a law in its power is to give orders. Very often it has to make an order commanding a person to do something or restraining him in some way. If he disobeys, the court has one weapon to its armory which it can use. It can punish him for the contempt of the court either by a fine or imprisonment. The kind of contempt has the characteristics which are common to all contempts of the court. It is a criminal offense. It may be provided beyond the reasonable doubt. We laid down that in Re Bramwell Ltd. But in addition, the court insists on several requirements being strictly observed. Means how the contempt of the court are exercised and what the power the court is having. This is about, in this case, it's a very short case. Strict proof. Next case is the three dockers. These are the meanings: picketed, debauched, martyr, averted. Martyrdom, committal, conversant, disarming, diffidence, contemner. So now we will see the case of the three dockers, churchman versus shop stewards. So this strictness was much in evidence in the case of three dockers, churchman versus shop stewards. It arose out of the Industrial Relations Court. It was bitterly opposed the trade union and their members, so much so that they refused to recognize the new court or to obey the orders. Means a docker from the east end of the London picketed a depot, and the court issued an order commanding them to stop the picketing. Dockers did not appear before the court, nor were they represented. They continued the picketing. The Industrial Relations Court gave judgment. The conduct of these men, as it appears at present, has gone far beyond nothing which could appropriately be of by the imposition of a fine. Unless we receive some explanation, we have no alternative but to make the orders committing them to prison. But we wish to give them every opportunity to explain their conduct if it can be explained. Means the court has given them a limitation. In that time you have to come, otherwise you will get the prison. So if they have not appeared before us tomorrow morning or applied to the court and the appeal before the 2 p.m. on Friday 16th June, the warrants will issue. Now everyone knew that the dockers would take no notice of the court. They would continue to disobey. They would continue their picketing. They would not appear before the industrial court to give an explanation. They would not apply to the court of appeal. The warrants would issue. They would go to prison. They would be martyrs. The trade union movement would call a general strike which would paralyze the movement. Means everybody was knowing that the dockers are not going to come in the court. So it was averted. But how was it done? The official solicitor appeared from nowhere. He applied to us in the court of the appeal, asking us to squash the order of the industrial court. We did so. The dockers were disappointed. They were at the gates of the depot, expecting to be arrested. Instead, there was no warrants, no arrest, no prison, no martyrdom, no strike. Means the official solicitor came on the behalf of the dockers and asked to squash the order. And in this way, there was no arrest, no prison, no martyrdom, no strike. So dockers were disappointed. Everyone asked at once, who is the official solicitor? What kind What right has he to represent the men when they wished for no representation? And what right had he to come to the court and ask for the committal order to be squashed? I gave the reasons in my judgment on the fateful Friday. The industrial court gave them until the 2 p.m. today, Friday, in which to apply the court of the appeal. The three dockers have not applied themselves, nor they have instructed anyone to apply on their behalf. But the official solicitor has done so. He has the authority to apply on behalf of any person in the land who is committed to the prison and does not move to the court on his own behalf. He has instructed Mr. Penn. Official solicitor's name is Mr. Penn and has submitted to us that the evidence before the industrial court was not sufficient to warrant the orders of the committal. Here description of Mr. Penn is given. Mr. Penn was a very conversant with the trade union matters. He was very effective advocate. He used to issue a disarming air of diffidence, as if to say, please help me. As per Lord Denning, when the court acts on its initiative, it has to take all the safeguards which are required by the High Court to be taken. The notice given to the contemner must describe the charges against him with all the particulars before depriving a man of liberty. The Court of Appeal set aside the order and averted a situation paralyzing the country with a single strike. This was the case of three dockers. Churchman versus shop stewards. So here we have completed the second case, and third is about the five dockers. Same. Only the number of dockers has increased. It is also known as Hitton's case. Just over the 5 weeks later of this three dockers case, the case of three dockers, churchman versus shop stewards, the story almost repeated itself, but this time it was five dockers, not three. They picketed the container depot. The industrial court ordered that they were to be present for the contempt. Again there was the threat of the general strike. Again we were ready to hear an immediate appeal of the official solicitor, but he was told by someone to hold his hand. The reason was because the House of Lords rushed through the decision which was said to affect the matter. It was Hitton's case. Then they were busy amending their drafts in typescript right up to the last moment. The decision was telephoned at once to the president of the industrial court. It gave him sufficient reason to provoke the order for committal. He revoked it. General strike was averted. Another emergency was over. Five dockers.